Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. I want to let you know I really do appreciate you being here. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for being a subscriber. And if you're not subscribed yet, please do go ahead and subscribe. And if you're listening to this on YouTube while you're at it, go ahead and hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up this place. And let's get into this conversation. It's been all over about Kim Zolciak and Kroy Bierman and the fact that they are now going through a divorce. This news came out after it was announced that they owe $1 million to the United States government, the IRS, and that they allegedly have not filed tax returns for several years, at least 3 years, and the fact that they also owe an amount to the state of Georgia, which is the state that they live in, for state taxes as well. Well, this news about the divorce, honestly, is not shocking to a lot of people. But, I wanted to talk about this, not to report it, because, of course, that's not what I do here. I just come to share my beautifully honest opinion on some news stories and situations that are out there and get your thoughts and opinions on it. But listen, we all know that Kim is about the money. And Kim married Kroy in 2011, and she wanted it to be so meaningful with the numbers, them getting married on November 11th, 2011. And if you watch the wedding special that they had at the time, this was before the Don't Be Tardy series they had for several seasons started airing. It was 11-11-11, 11-11-11. This date is just really special to us. 11-11-11. This man adopted her 2 children from previous relationships because Brielle and Ariana, they do not have the same fathers. And he adopted them and gave them his last name so that they could all be Biermans. And they were just living this extremely extravagant lifestyle. Extremely extravagant. Because when she met Kroy, they met at a Dancing with Atlanta Stars charity event. And that was where she supposedly just saw his butt. And it was just what she had to have. And at the time, she was either still seeing Big Papa and not telling the general public that she was still seeing Big Papa, or she actually wasn't seeing him anymore and decided that the ring didn't mean a thing. Like that song that Candy wrote for her, and she tried to make it a hit, and it just wasn't working. It didn't work like Don't Be Tardy, which was the one hit that worked for her, even though she didn't deserve it because she did Candy dirty with that deal, and it was just crazy. Candy sued her. Somehow Candy did not win that case. I don't know why. I don't remember all of the details about it. But Kim was so arrogant in her, in her response to Candy with that litigation. And I'll never forget, that was the reunion where it was addressed and Kim was just so arrogant, and Andy was asking her about the lawsuit. I believe that was her last year being on Housewives. She came on there, she had on this green dress, and she was just talking about how ridiculous this lawsuit is. And she was just really shading Candy a lot. And, I just, at that time, when I saw her and how arrogant she was, I said, you know what, at some point in time, she's really going to get a real living reality check. I know they're doing the reality shows to get the reality check, quote unquote, so that they can put in the bank. But she needs a real reality check. This woman has disassociated herself from her parents. Her parents helped her out a lot. And once she got Kroy, she just pretty much ditched them. I talked about that on several previous conversations where I've had conversations talking about Kim and news that came out about the home being in foreclosure and different things like that. And not only that, how Kroy allegedly disassociated himself from his mom. And if you watched the wedding special, you could see that Kroy's mom and Kroy's family, his side of the family, they really didn't believe that Kim was a good fit for Kroy. And sometimes moms are right. And we know sometimes moms, they're just extremely overprotective and nobody's good enough for their baby. I get that too. Because it's one thing if the woman isn't a problem, but you're just coming up with reasons as to why you don't think your son should be with this person. And then there's the other side where Kim had all of these problematic ways that a lot of people would not see her as a good fit to be a spouse for their child. I don't care how old their son is. So Kim, I just believe that they saw those red flags and they knew that she wasn't a good fit. And Kim persuaded that man to disassociate himself from his family. Of course, she couldn't make him do anything he didn't want to do, but I do believe that she was a huge encourager of him doing that. So the news reads, Kim Zolciak has filed for divorce from Kroy Bierman after 11 years of marriage. In her divorce petition, Kim said the marriage is irretrievably broken with no hope of reconciliation. According to TMZ, and they had it like this, the unemployed reality TV star listed her separation date from the ex-NFL player as April 30th. So they're basically saying they're both unemployed because they say ex-NFL player and unemployed reality TV star. Okay. The former Real Housewives of Atlanta star and Kroy share 4 children ages 11, 10, and 9-year-old twins. Kroy also legally adopted Kim's daughters, Brielle, 26, and Ariana, 21. Kim met him at the Dancing with Atlanta Stars charity event at the time he was an Atlanta Falcons player in 2010. And they got married 1 year later. So she really, really sunk her heels into this one and she got what she wanted. Now they're both getting a divorce. And of course, it came with the news slightly after that they both owe the IRS over $1 million in unpaid taxes. So, with that being said, and also the news that came out previously about their home going into foreclosure and then the foreclosure being called off, it really makes you wonder who was the one that purchased the home to save them so that they could stay in it. I don't know if it was someone that she knew, but she was already looking at the front door for a while because TMZ is reporting that they're going through this custody battle over the finances and Kroy wanting to have full custody of the children that they had together, of course. And of course, Brielle and Ariana, they're adults, so nobody needs custody of them. But the story reads that Kim and Kroy's divorce has telltale signs it's already super nasty, with a war brewing over the estranged couple's children and broken finances. TMZ has obtained Kroy's petition for divorce, and he wants sole legal and physical custody of the pair's 4 minor children. That in itself is an aggressive move, essentially cutting his estranged wife out of the child-rearing process. Kim's legal docs also reveal things are not kumbaya. She's asking for sole physical custody with visitation for Kroy. And when couples get along, they typically ask for joint legal and physical custody, but neither seems to want that. There's also the couple's home, which went into foreclosure earlier this year. Kroy is asking for possession of the home and that Kim be forced to vacate the property. So that is definitely aggressive. And Kroy puts Kim on notice in his divorce petition, saying she must maintain all financial documents, including all income records, tax records, expense records, and more. This suggests a deep conflict over who was responsible for their financial woes. Uh-oh. So interestingly enough, both Kim and Kroy filed separate petitions for divorce. Kroy's was stamped on Monday, and we're told Kim filed hers over the weekend. So in other words, it was a race to the courthouse, so each could say they filed first to end the marriage. And it's also being reported that they're still living together in the same house despite going through this divorce. And I mean, really, where are they going to go? I'm sure Kroy has family in the Midwest. I believe that's where he's from. But he wants to stay near his children, and he's asking for sole legal and physical custody. So to me, it sounds like he's saying and putting Kim on notice, look, I met you as a housewife. You need to get your ass back to work and get working, make the money, and I will take care of the children because I feel that I actually am more responsible than you are. And in all honesty, listen, I don't know anything about Kroy and you know, just besides the things that I've seen on the show. And to me, I mean, I haven't seen Kroy hopping in and out of cars with cups and glasses of wine, drinking wine all the time. Like, Kim has done some really outrageous, crazy things, and I'm quite sure he'll probably try to subpoena some of the records of film of Kim and different things that she has said and done on the show to make it, or transcripts, I should say, to make it appear as if he is the more responsible parent to take care of the children. And Kim should be the one to pay child support and get her up out of this house. We'll stay here and she can go and get a condo somewhere. But you know what? I never would wish for any parent, especially a mother that gave birth to children, to have their children taken in that way. I would never wish that. But if it wound up happening, I would not say that I would be shocked. And I actually wouldn't even say that it wasn't deserved at some point. Because Kim has been extremely nasty and arrogant over the years. Her ego has just become extremely inflated. It's kind of funny how she and Nene had these fallings out, and they would fall back in for a little bit and fall out again because they're almost, I don't want to say identical, but they definitely have a whole lot in common. They both really were not who they portrayed themselves to be when they came onto the scene of The Real Housewives of Atlanta in the first season. And both of them, their egos have just become so huge and so inflated. I don't believe that Kim deserves to get a place back on reality TV. I get it. She needs the checks. She needs the money. And she's been living reckless, living irresponsibly. And I get all of those things. But I really don't believe that she deserves to get another chance to be on The Housewives. Or I heard that there's rumors and talks of her doing the next season of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. You know, it's just like, why? Because I go back to the reunion where Kim, she was not a peach holder on that season, but she came on there and she came with Kroy being her bodyguard, and she spewed a lot of nasty stuff, and those ladies let her have it on the stage, and she couldn't take it, and she got up out of the kitchen because she couldn't take the heat, and she went into the bathroom, and she was just going off on everybody. Even Sheree, who is, I feel, kind of like Kim's lapdog, came in there and she was going off on Sheree, talking about this racism stuff doesn't even exist anymore. It's made up, and all of these women, they owe the whole world an apology, and most other white people would not dare come on this show and film with these ladies. Like, she just was so arrogant and so disgusting and so nasty. And she was making herself out to be like better than everyone else that was there, because that was that season when like Candy went off on her when they were filming at the restaurant. And she also went off on her on the stage at the reunion. And I was here for it. She deserved every bit of it. But Kim is a friend to no one. Kim, we saw this coming. We didn't know when, we didn't know how, but when the announcement came about she and Kroy getting divorced, nobody could say that they were shocked or surprised by it, because it's just like, yeah, you know, as the world turns, we already know what's going to happen. But I wonder what her parents have to say about this. I wonder what Kroy's parents have to say about this. I'm sure that they are there just waiting and willing to be a part of their son's life, but it's just dirty how he just completely X'd them out because Kim felt uncomfortable about them. If you go back and you watch that wedding special that she and Kroy had, it may have been like 6 episodes. I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 episodes. She talked about it. She talks about how they were so uncomfortable around them. And I think maybe that first season of Don't Be Tardy, the reality series that they had, I believe she discussed it. I didn't really watch that show, but I believe she discussed it on there, talking about Kroy's parents, her, his mom, and how it was all about Kim. It was because of how she feels like Kroy's mom made her feel. He just completely X'd his mom out of his life. Look, I get it when it comes to in-laws. Sometimes they're not going to see it for you, and that happens. But there's a way to do things and a way to handle things. And Kim is like that with almost everyone. She did it to her own parents. So Kroy's mom didn't really stand a chance. So they're probably somewhere doing flips and cartwheels and celebrating the fact that he's finally woken up to say, I can't do this anymore. So allegedly, he's the one that filed first. We will see where this goes. But, Kim, she's about that bag. And when Kenya let her know about herself, when Sheree had her, whatever, she called it, her masquerade party / open housewarming party, and Kim called herself confronting Kenya. Kenya was like, you need to be worrying about your husband because he doesn't have a job right now. And she was bragging about the money that he's made. So she's always been about image and always been about, well, yeah, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And, I ask, believe, and receive. And I get it. It's like, girl, you are a trip. Nobody's buying the fact that you were living this extremely extravagant lifestyle that you really couldn't afford, even when you did have the reality show. Like, how much were you really getting paid versus how much were you really putting out? It's absolutely insane. The bleed, like, I'm sure Kroy wanted to stop the bleeding and he couldn't really do it with somebody like her. So now he wants to hold her accountable. And I say more power to him. I don't care for him, to be honest with you. There was nothing to me I felt like was likable. I just felt like he was a dummy to get with someone like that. I really was surprised because I just remember the first date and him coming over to the house, and the one of the daughters was giving him a hug and saying, I love you, Kroy. She didn't even know this man. Like, it was his first time coming over, just taking her mom out for a date. To me, I felt like that would have been something that would have given him pause for the cause and maybe caused him to push himself back a little bit. But he wound up getting married to the chick. So to be honest, all of that really surprised me. But the divorce happening, it doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't. So this image that she was trying to portray, nobody was, fooled by it. I really wonder what Big Papa has to say about this. I wonder what Sweetie has to say about this. I really want to hear what other people that she has done wrong have to say about this, like her parents, like Kroy's parents, like Candy, even Nene. I really would love to hear what they have to say about it. I wouldn't say that they're relishing in it and they're happy and they're celebrating it, but I really would love to be a fly on the wall to hear what they have to say about it, because you just, oh my gosh, you just got to be so careful about how you treat people. And I'm sure she's probably still going to make it seem like she's winning right now, because people like that, I feel like she does have a tinge of narcissism within her. They don't know how to humble themselves, because all of us in life, we go through things that may not be deserved, or we go through hard times and struggles and trials. That's a part of life. But it's one thing when you're going through these things that are just a part of your journey versus when you have intentionally done things to hurt and harm people. And then when things come around, you're either trying to put on a front to act like things are all well and not letting people see you sweat. I don't have a problem with people trying to just continue to move forward in spite of the things that they go through in their life. But with people like her, I feel like they need to be humbled. I do believe that she needs to be humbled, and I'm hoping that this will be a humbling moment for her. I wish the children the best. We'll see where this goes and how this transpires, but was it surprising? Absolutely not. But I really want to know if Kroy is remembering, I'm quite sure, the private conversations that he's had with his mom, and just seeing how his life has unfolded over all of these years of being with this woman. So you guys let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. This is Beth, and I'm just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and I'm going to say bye.